called Letter to My High School Health Teacher. Mrs. R, won't you teach us where do babies come from? Help us memorize every STD. Which ones would be stuck with us like bad memories, and which ones would go away with a round of penicillin? Mrs. R, do you remember we played a game called Sex in a Cup, where everyone had a Dixie cup and we went around and mixed our waters together, then you dropped a chemical in them and most of them turned pink to demonstrate how if we had sex we would most definitely all get HIV. Armed with your sexual side effects, PowerPoint presentations, slides of infected genitals, gonorrhea, syphilis, herpes, hoping we would think, holy fucking cauliflower penis, Batman! Mrs. R, where do we go to order our very own chastity belts? This logic did not work on him. He sat like a hunter in the bushes, waiting for an unsuspecting deer. Scope zoomed in on the girl who walked into your class like she was afraid of offending the doorframe. Mrs. R, you said you didn't want us doing this, but that we were kids and we were going to do what we were going to do. So it was your job to warn us what could happen and teach us to do it safely. He watched with the rest of them as you taught giggling teenage boys to put condoms on bananas. You never taught him to take no for an answer. Now teach me, what is so safe about that? You spent so much time advising the girls of the rubber bullet insults that would be shot down the halls at them if ever they opened their legs. Didn't it occur to you to suggest kicking them instead? Couldn't you see they'd grow up to be women who would not learn the definition of verbal consent until too many years too late, out with men under the impression that no was still code for convince me, and that is something they should have learned in high school. You told the girls not to be alone after dark, showed them how to walk with their keys in a fist to ward off ill-intentioned hooded figures. You completely failed to mention anything about the boys on the wrestling team, skipped the chapter on walks in the middle of the night that would change the way she let boys touch her. Where was the section on how to tell someone his secret? Half the girls in your class were in the choir. The best in the state, they won so many awards, perhaps it seemed redundant to teach them that they had a voice. She was the whiteboard he stroked with his permanent marker fingers, graffiti that does not wash off with penicillin. After him, girlfriend, would be a pair of jeans that never quite fit right. These are the symptoms. After him, hands shaking on steering wheels to first dates with boys who could not understand why she would avoid their eyes when they were alone. They were all just kids. After him, strings of strangers. She'd leave before breakfast because she couldn't look at anyone after they'd taken their clothes off. They were going to do what they were going to do. After him, wondering if there would ever be such a thing as after him. Mrs. R, your slides won't save her now. You didn't have one about the disease with his name. But teacher, I just wish you had warned her about the side effects.
Mom!